Hello again, everybody. A little bit late to this one just because of the COVID-19. I'm still in that, post-COVID recovery, but it's, going pretty well at this point just because it's been, almost just about 3.5 weeks since I was infected. Anyway, that's at the time of this recording, so we finally can do our focus commentary on Dragonite. I mean, this is a dope character. We've all seen how it has unfolded since release and everything, definitely folded into the meta, so this is actually going to be a little bit different because I had all this time as I was recovering and not able to do commentary during COVID. We're actually going to have several examples of just several different things, and so many different Dragonite players can be shown here, about 4 or so, if I recall correctly. We had our main one, and we just sort of cut away. Our main one is now in the top right. Right now, we're just showing Rin here as kind of our big screen. This is to show how you start off. Obviously, I think many of us know Dragonite's super useful in the jungle. Look at how Rin timed that just perfectly down to the exact second, using that twister when Stantler was going to appear. It was right as the Stantler appeared, that twister was going off. Well done. And so you'll see this transition every time that we move to a different Dragonite player or go back to our main one. This is our main one. I feel I'm going to butcher the name. It's I can say the names of all the other ones, but right here I'm just going to shorten it to Kami. I'm sorry. I'm probably screwing it up. Evolve to Dragonair. That's good. That's the name of the game right here. You do really advantage yourself going jungle with Dragonite. Finding these ways to level up is very good. So use this Dragon Dance. That's going to be a big one. We're going to talk about Dragon Dance like crazy, but just know that your standard attack while you're Dratini, it's just got the water. It becomes boosted every third attack for all 3, Dratini, Dragonair, Dragonite. When you're Dratini with just the water one, the boosted attack will also reduce the cooldown of all of your moves, and it actually has some healing effects for you. When you're Dragonair, you do get the electric, and so when that boosted attack hits on the third attack, it'll leave the opponent stunned, just for a real short amount of time, but it's nice. And of course, when you're Dragonite, it's just the extra damage with the fire. So we're looking at renamed right here as another Dragonite player, and this goes back to the starting point. Here's one thing that's a danger. You're going to see that this really cripples the Dragonite basically through the entire match. You notice that a Greedent has come over from the orange squad and is just absolutely punishing, bullying, trolling, everything you can think of, going to try to at least either attempt to steal these jungles, which it does really well, but just do whatever it can to deny this Dratini any experience. And look at that. Lucario can just boom, take it out with an E-speed right there very easily. That was seamlessly and effortlessly, it looked like, And so they just continue to bully this Dratini. Look, not even just now leveling up to level 4. When this happens, you really do need help if you can't beat them on your own, right? I mean, that makes perfect sense, right? That's exactly what we just said. But notice how crippled that already makes our Dragonite player right here renamed. The other team has Dragonair, so that's one thing. But also just kind of having to deal with all of these fights, it probably feels a little bit foolish if you're renamed right now. Everybody's taking your jungle, keeping you behind. And so you're going to kind of see this trend throughout. They've denied this Dratini early experience, early jungles, buffs, whatever it may be that you need. And look at this Lucario now level 7 at this about 7:45 minute mark here in the game still left. And so when you make a Dratini useless like that, we're going to see, they have to go back and heal, and then going to get involved in some of these fights on the bottom lane, but not really be able to help the rest of the squad in a way that you would have if you had all of that experience and all of that jungle. So that was, again, this is a good look at when things go wrong, right? It's good to have all these different examples because this Lucario and Zarina, especially being over-leveled above you, they're normally thought of as kind of even matches against Dragonite players, but look at that. Being levels above you is just going to be crippling. And this player didn't evolve to Dragonair here, renamed, until just about 6:45 on the clock. Now, I believe this is our last Dragonite player that we also have some focus and some clips on. Was Toon got W, for example. The evolution happened basically less than a minute into the match. And so here's another point. When you're Dragonite, obviously you do get your Unite move, Draco Impact, so use that for the mobility. And definitely Dragon Dance and Hyper Beam, man. Just an amazing moveset, but to the point, we now have renamed at level 10, was able to luckily catch up, but at the 5-minute mark, is just kind of where they are now, on par with everybody else, whereas you could be levels ahead everybody else, and winning a lot of those skirmishes that are typical even matchups and stuff. So here we go, once again, the Draco Impact, using it for mobility in so many different ways. It's wherever your imagination can take you with that, you can scale half the map with that Draco Impact, right? And so Toon is going to demonstrate now, back to the original point of Dragon Dance with Hyper Beam. We've seen it with our main, that Dragonite, obviously been kind of in the top right a little bit, but Dragonite can just straight up solo this Dreadnought objective. It's honestly kind of awesome, when you just use that Dragon Dance up to 3 times. Not only is a basic level, you have the mobility, right? Because you kind of move quickly to the target location, but then it's going to increase your damage dealt, increase your movement speed, and your basic attack speed for a short time. But even during that short time, even when your attacks hit, it reduces a little bit of your cooldown too. So like, it's just really good. And again, stack it up to 3 times, then use your Hyper Beam and you can just go 0 to 100, right? So now we'll look at Rin right here. It might just be that Overlord is also a great player, of course, but while they typically, you might hear somebody consider Zarina, Lucario, they could be even matchups, you know, on par with Dragonite and stuff. And here we see that the levels, they are exact, you know, 7 to 7, earlier it was 5 to 5, but notice how Zarina really does have this advantage. It's really good for you as the Dragonite to be over leveled. That obviously goes for every character, but like Dragonite, it's like that principle on crack, right? Because here we see now Dragonite, it's a level behind, but also Zarina. I mean, we've even got the help of Greedent right here, WJ Froy. And again, Overlord is a great player, so like all of this accounts for the players that are actually using these Pokemon. And the thing is, Rin is a really good player. Rin has like constantly been in Season 2's like at least above the top 15 players globally. And so with that, you see, even getting help, it's like Zarina can still take out this Dragonite when it's even or close. We'll come back to Kami here, our main Dragonite, and there's just a lot to talk about, right? But one thing, I do like to discuss this during the focus commentaries, is the items. We can't see what items, of course, that each of the players that we spectate are using. That's just not a feature on Spectator mode. Please add that, Unite devs, please. But anyway, like at a base level, always have a Buddy Barrier. Oh yeah, look at this. We need to talk about Gardevoir going up against Dragonite. But yes, Buddy Barrier, and you could even run Focus Band as well. Both of these are going to help you. Of course, the Focus Band for staying in the fights and stuff, and when things look dangerous, you can even have your passive, which allows you to take more damage and stuff. Well, even with that and a Focus Band, and then let's say you Buddy Barrier because you use your Unite move at the last second, like you can stay in fights for so long as Dragonite. It is absolutely epic. But beyond Buddy Barrier as kind of like the main one, you can make cases for some other things. It's just Focus Band and Muscle Band are typically really great, and for a lot of characters in this game. We can go to the section of the game and edit that in here. The game kind of gives its recommendations, but also shows what other Masters Dragonite players use, so we can just see a range of different builds that you can go. But please, use that Buddy Barrier, man. It is just nuts. But yeah, we mentioned this before, and we'll see it again, but going up against a Gardevoir, some could call that another good matchup where you see like a nice contest, but it's like Gardevoir has the range and everything and can just do crazy damage, but that fragility, being a little bit squishy, and you having Dragon Dance as a Dragonite, you can absolutely close the distance in and then just use your Hyper Beam. And because it's so squishy, the HP of that Kirlia earlier, but now it's a Gardevoir in this match, but like it's not going to stand to some kind of like high burst like Hyper Beam. So dude, absolutely. Toon Got W is going to kind of show us though, when you do have these even levels against Zarina, Toon right here was running an eject button, and so that is one way that's going to be able to help you. But also you see like, hey, that was going to be a fight against a Dratini at that moment and a Zarina, so you use the eject to escape if you're not looking to maybe run. Well, I actually have seen some people go Goal Getter on Dragonite, but the eject button's good. That's what I use. I'm a little bit more for that playstyle though, but I mean, also for instance, Kami right here is using the full heal. If you're really hardcore on the jungling, I guess you could go with the Fluffy Tail. That's not exactly my like kind of main advice, but notice Rin now is in the top right, and essentially what happened was another good use of that Draco Impact, right? As you can, for instance, going after Articuno, not just entering team fights, but skipping over the team fight to go straight for the objective. So that's one use, and we'll see Kami, our main Dragonite, also use a Draco Impact really well after they get the Articuno. Definitely watch for that. This is like one of the 3 out of 20 commentaries that I do that's not live. Like I've already seen all this. This is like highly edited and produced, as you can tell. But look at that. I mean, Gardevoir is just going to go down in flames. And so right here, they get the Articuno. All the goals are frozen. So for instance, if a Snorlax is blocking you, you could Draco over that. And look, he actually did start the Draco as that block was there, but didn't really need to jump over the Snorlax. Could have, but you saw they jumped straight to that goal. And of course, the other team is going to GG, but that, you know, obviously would have been a great way to just bypass everybody. And so I do recommend you guys probably view this video several times if you are still learning how to play Dragonite entirely or want to learn, because I know that it's hard to watch 2 different Unite matches happening at the same time. That was obviously just at some of the parts of this video. You know, I didn't want it to be throughout the entire thing, but there's just a lot to cover in such a short amount of time, right? In your settings, you can increase the move target sensitivity. So anything like Draco Impact where you need to pick a spot on the map, it can move quicker. So if you do play Dragonite a lot, you might want to increase that even to just full high. But thank you so much, you guys, and thank you for all the love while I was dealing with COVID and all of that stuff that came with it. I had underlying health issues, so that makes it worse. But ladies and gentlemen, we are coming back, and so I'll catch you on the next vid, and thanks for viewing.